Hey guys, good morning. Hope you're enjoying the holidays. Welcome, Zeusers, and I know it's taking some time away from your family and friends. Hopefully, you guys had a great Christmas, and looking forward to celebrate the New Year. So we'll keep it short for this AMA. I'll kind of go over some of the things that we have been doing and demo another app. So let's get this started. I guess I'm live. I'm not sure if anybody can. I don't see any message from the chat, so I'm expecting that I'm live and we're good to go. So a couple of things I want to mention is that will be our hackathon process is going well. We are doing the mobile SDK first, and then we will do the JavaScript SDK. Okay, great. I'm live. All right, so it's good to get confirmation from chat. Now, one of the things we're doing with the hackathon, because our JavaScript SDK is not ready, we're going with the mobile SDK first. So we'll do a Hello World app, and the app is something that we will use for mobile, for basically hackathons that can build a simple app using our Züs platform. And we will have the SDK for them and a sample Hello World app so that they can sort it out easily. So that will be made public probably sometime next week. So some of you guys can test it out before we actually do the hackathon. And the idea is to do the hackathon even before we go live on mainnet, so that all the developers become aware of our product and what they can do with our product. So that's one of the things we will be doing. Obviously, we want to get the JavaScript SDK ready so that we can build web apps, which are probably gonna be more common and more popular. So that's the hackathon. We are also documenting, making sure the documentation is very good, very easy for people, for developers to follow, so that they can build apps. Or they can, basically build a website or transform their website. I mean, one of the things we're trying to do is make it sure that developers can basically crawl before they walk and run. So the crawling aspect would be they can use Blimp for backing up their storage, or they can use Chimney to participate on our network. And then the walk part would be using the mobile SDK to build an app that's a very simple app, right? Or using the JavaScript SDK to transform their website. So those are kind of the easy things they can do with our platform. And then obviously the run aspect as well, they can use the SDK to develop applications such as Vault or Blimp or Chimney that we have done, which are more complex, right? So that's a little blurb on how the hackathon is going, because it's kind of important, because we're going to do this hackathon a year long. There are going to be some weekend hackathons, week-long hackathons, and monthly hackathons, depending on the length of the project and the type of hackathon. And we're collaborating with a bunch of partners. So different partners have different requirements. So we'll engage multiple of them so that we get a broad awareness of our platform. So that's going well. And then our pre-mainnet is going well. We had a couple of issues, and those are being addressed internally in terms of there was a size issue with the miner, and with some miners, it's not all the miners. So we're investigating that. And then of course there is an issue where a lot of the miners are in Europe. So their blocks are getting finalized. So that will kind of self-correct itself once we have a lot of US miners on board, because right now we only have 50 miners that on our active set. And just to give you, just to give you a sense of what the active set looks like and how it's doing, I'll just quick show the active set. So this is the active set. As you can see, these are all the miners. There's about 53 of them, and then there are 20 sharders, right? So we have 53 miners and 23 sharders. And if you look at the chain stats, by the way, I don't want to go too much detail about this, but basically you have the this is the magic block, which is, there's only one magic block, which is block 0. But this will change when we have the view change protocol implemented with our on our network for our next mainnet release. So the first release will have fixed view change, which is a fixed view, which is the block 0 view, which is basically these are the miners, these are the fixed miners. And as you can see here, it shows you what are the blocks that have been finalized, right? So each block pointing to the previous block because it's obviously a blockchain. And then this is the current block, which is not finalized yet. And the last finalized block is this one. So LFB is the last finalized block, which is typically, 3 blocks behind, because you want to have enough blocks on top of you to get 100% finality. And if you look at our chain stats, you will see the chain stats are, the mean is about half a second. Which is very fast in terms of steady state finality. There's only, I believe, Definity has a similar finality. I think theirs is about 1 second or a little bit more than 1 second. So ours is going to be half a second. So we are trying to achieve sub-second finality, which is great. And then there are different ways you can look at the finality. So you have start to finish finality, which is a little bit more. And then there's transaction finality, which is basically when I send a transaction, it gets on a block and the block becomes finalized. All right, so, and if you look at the miner stats, so this is where I was saying that if you look at the miner stats, you will see that some miners are not getting their blocks finalized. That's because, they're late in submitting their blocks. As you can see, there are multiple blocks generated. So if you look at the notarized blocks, there are rounds that are, the first one is notarized. The highest index gets notarized. But there are also a lot of rounds, like 100,000 rounds, where the second block, there are 2 blocks notarized, and then 3 blocks notarized. But generally, very few blocks beyond 5 are notarized. So that shows you that there are multiple blocks. Essentially, there are multiple chains, but the best chain survives. And we could pick. So even if one is DDoSed, we basically can pick other ranked blocks, and therefore they get notarized as a result. So, but during the finalization process, we basically notarize one of them. As you can see here, there are basically 10 ranks. So basically 10 here, there are 11 generators. So 11 chains are essentially running in parallel. And you can think of it that way. Basically 11 blocks are generated, but only, as you can see, rank 0 and rank 1, there are quite a few blocks that are rank 1 that are notarized. So that's what's happening, is that some of the slower generators are not getting their block finalized as a result, because they're not getting enough votes to get them finalized. And that will self-correct once we have a lot of US miners, so that the latency is not an issue. All right, so So that's a bit about pre-mainnet, how it's going. So next step for pre-mainnet would be, so the next step for pre-mainnet would be to get the load test going. So to get the load test going, we need to have the blobbers on board as well, registered. And the easiest way to do it is through our app, Chimney app. And that's something we are working with internally in terms of creating a workflow. We're changing the workflow a little bit to make it easier so that people's domain can be used, their own domain can be used, and also it's totally safe for people to use it, use the Chimney app, and not to reveal their private keys. So that's a little tweak in the process that we're doing, which is why it's taking a little bit longer. So hopefully it'll be a day or two to get that done and get enough blobbers registered on the network that we can begin our load test. And the load test will be similar to what we're doing internally and on our internal networks. And so hopefully that will work out. So the first part would be the load test only, and then we will introduce DDoS testing, and then the last one would be chaos testing. And then after, if it works out well, then we will basically do chaos and DDoS together to see if it is working, and then we will run apps on top of the pre-mainnet. But even prior to that, we will start releasing the apps as they become ready. So in terms of apps update, I was hoping that we can get the bolt out, but there we encountered some network issues. So we will try to get the bolt out before the end of the year. We will see. But they're in process. You have Bolt, Atlas, Chimney that are in process to be delivered very soon. So this could be before the end of the year or in the new year. So a lot of things to come, a lot of exciting things to come. I'm really pleased with the development so far, and certainly the app development, some of the things that we are doing to make sure that our platform is optimized for a lot of transactions on a lot of processes. So that's one of the things that we are right now working on to optimize some of the processes as we load test. So when we load test, we learn that if our database is growing too quickly or not, so then we need to optimize certain things. So that's something we're working on right now, and we also uncovered some bugs in the process. Some of them are because of new merges, and that typically happens because your system test doesn't catch all the bugs because they're kind of evolving. So that kind of delayed a few things, but we hope to get them cleaned up in the next a week or so. All right, so what I'll do now is so what I'll do now is present the Chalk app. All right, so let's go to the Chalk app. So let's go to the Vimeo here. I suppose everybody can see this video. And let me increase the screen size. Okay, so the first part, is basically, this is the Chalk app. So you, actually, let me go back. So create and manage your NFT and packs on Zero Chain. All right, so I think this needs to change. This needs to be Züs. But you see what I mean, right? This was done a little bit earlier and has not been updated in terms of the text. So create and manage your NFT and NFT packs on Züs. And then, it talks about, as you scroll up, you will see that it talks about what are the latest creations on Chalk, and then why you should use Chalk and so forth. So there's some value proposition in terms of that on the homepage. Then you can explore Chalk. So for instance, when you're exploring Chalk, you can see the collections that are on Chalk network. So these are the collections that are minted on Chalk, and they're available for public mint or for the pack mint. So for instance, so in our network, if you want to purchase the collections or NFTs, then you can basically click on them and then log in and purchase those minted NFTs. So yeah, so this is the Explore NFT, and then we log in. So this is the same login process as with the other apps through OTP using Firebase. You verify that you are the device that you're logging in. You'll get an OTP code, and you verify that, and you're logged in. All right, so now if you already have a wallet, as Gerta has here, you can see, it shows you the balance and so forth, and this is the address, right, of the wallet. Okay, so, and you can recover also from a cloud if you want to. So let's say you have a wallet, but you want to recover wallet, you can recover the wallet with a mnemonic or from the cloud. The cloud is essentially our cloud where we store your mnemonic with a passphrase that you have used. So it's encrypted. So you can recover it from the cloud, and then you're in. So you're logged in. As you can see, your wallet with username, and you can put your own biography and so forth. You can edit, and you can add details about yourself and so forth, right? There's a banner image and your profile image and so forth. So here you're editing the name. So I'm just gonna, and then, I'm a digital creator, and then save the profile. And then you can see from here what what you have in terms of earnings. So you can look at the earnings that you have from the NFTs that you've created. So we basically look at the earnings. We pull the earnings from the Ethereum and or Polygon contracts. Yeah, so there are royalties, minting fees, and so forth. So it gives you a whole stat of what your current status. So this one is my NFT. So now you can see what are the NFTs that you have purchased, or basically the NFTs you've created. So this is the NFTs. Now there's something wrong with the image, so that's why the image is not showing up here, but that will be obviously fixed. So there are two types now that you can explore. So that's the explore part. You can explore NFT minted, and then you can create NFTs. So in the create phase, you basically can create different types of NFTs. So you have an owner mint, you have a public mint, and pack mint. So owner mint is where it's a basic contract, and it's basically minted, so nobody can purchase it. With the public mint and pack mint is where anybody can purchase the contract. So that's more interesting and exciting because you can raise money without having minted your creation, without creating any artwork, you can basically raise money on future artwork that you're going to create. That's the public mint, and same thing with the pack mint. So here I'm deploying the contract. So this is a owner mint. I'm deploying this contract. You name the collection, you create a symbol, and you decide which network to use. Here you're using Ethereum, but you could use Polygon. You determine how many quantities of tokens you want to mint, and the number of, and then how much data you're going to use. So this is where we provide permanent storage for our NFT creators. And this is a service that we are providing from Zero Chain on the Züs platform. So the Züs platform doesn't provide the permanency. It's the Zero Chain platform that provides the permanency through Team Wallet and Team tokens. But what we're saying is that if you want Zero Chain to store data permanently, then there are certain terms and conditions, but one of the terms is that it needs to be actively traded, and then we can store it permanently, and then we charge a percentage on the mint rate based on how much data you're storing. So there is a storage size, and then there is a mint rate associated, a trade rate associated with that. And then you determine what the price would be. The mint price, you can upload the image. You can upload multiple images. So that's another thing that we have done. You can upload multiple images for your NFT to enhance the value of the NFT. Because, like when you walk into a store, walk into a museum, or even a store, a gallery, you want to understand what is the story behind the artwork, right? So again, by the way, let me go back here. So it's deploying the contract. So before I continue on, so basically the idea for our platform is to enhance the value of our creators' NFT, so they can tell a story. And how do you tell a story? Well, you add either a video explainer or progression images to show how the artwork was formed, and then the prior artwork leading up to it. So it enhances the value of the NFT, and because people then get the context behind that NFT. This is the same thing for, let's say, if you want to do an NFT of a particular event, whether it's a sports event or of a movie, right? You want to show a little script of a little video of the movie, or a little play of the sports event, and then create a particular image. Choose a particular image that will be the face of that NFT. But you could have progression of those images as well for the NFT. So it's up to the creator to decide what to incorporate in their data asset and as part of the NFT. And that's the whole idea behind Chalk, right? To enhance the value of the NFT so that creators can be empowered to enhance the value of their NFTs. Okay, so here we're deploying the contract. So once you upload the image and the banner image and so forth, you can deploy the contract. So this is through MetaMask, and that's something that you basically do when you connect your MetaMask, which is your Ethereum wallet or Polygon wallet. And then you create the contract on Ethereum or Polygon, and then you upload the assets, right? So you can see all the contract interaction on MetaMask, right? And then you start uploading the name of the NFT, the description of the NFT, and then assets that's about the NFT. So the first part is basically I'm deploying a contract, which is essentially a collection, NFT collection, and I have a banner image and an artwork, and now I'm uploading images based on the individual NFTs for that collection. And then I'm minting tokens. So here I'm successfully minting. So this is the owner mint. So basically the process here is that I upload the images of the NFT, and this could be placeholder images, and then I mint the NFT. And so the way we're doing with the creator is that you can create all these NFTs with placeholder images, with which are basically can be populated from Chalk itself. And then you can add or replace the image. You can delete the image that was a placeholder image and substitute it for the real artwork that you're gonna have for the NFT, or artworks. There could be multiple images, it could be videos, and so forth. So it's very flexible. Okay, so successfully sent mint token, and then and basically it's mint token completed, and then you can see it's completed. And right now, as you can see, the images are not showing. There's a problem downloading the image, but that will be that's just a temporary problem right now because it was working earlier. And then you can see you have one NFT. So in this collection, you have one NFTs. You have no collectors yet because nobody has traded it, and the price and the volume, right? So these are all gathered from the Ethereum and Polygon contracts. And then you can see my NFTs. Now that you have created an NFT, you can see the NFTs that you have created, right? So you have the Jane 29 December collection NFT in your collection. All right, so and then when you click on it, you can see the NFTs you can mint now if you want. So that's basically it. So yeah, so I think that's about the NFTs. Now we've shown you. So let me switch. So we've shown you the owner mint workflow, but it's the same workflow for public mint. It's a slightly different workflow for a public mint and pack mint. And we will not show it on a video, but we will basically release the Chalk app so that you can play around with it and see it for yourself. So I hope you enjoyed the demo. It's almost there, but there are a few quirks and kinks that we're working out, and we'll be releasing it shortly along with the other apps. Again, all of these apps are basically have separate teams, so they're all in parallel, going in parallel. So it's not like they're dependent on other developers. It's just whenever they get done, we will release them. I would think the Bolt and Bolt and Chimney are the ones that we're gonna release the earliest, because the Chimney will be used by the active set guys first, so we will get that released early on, at least tested by them, and then we will release the Atlas and Chalk subsequently. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. So I'll open the floor to questions and answer your questions. I see there's one question already from Double Dutch. Will Züs be working on YouTube tutorials available for Chalk and the rest of the apps? Yes, we will. Once we have all the apps done, we will have a YouTube video. I mean, we could basically do a professional video in terms of how it works, and so that's something we are thinking of doing. But we will have a YouTube video done up right after it's in the release state. Right now the product is not released yet, so once it's released, we'll be doing a YouTube video. But this is something that you guys also can do, and highlight some features and so forth, right? Because there's a lot of stuff going on within the Chalk app. Within the Chalk app, there are several workflows, as you can see. They have the owner mint, you have the public mint, and you have the pack mint. and it can be a pretty long video, but we could potentially break it up into little segments. Okay, question from Mushi Mushi. For Chalk, is there a maximum file size for videos? There isn't a there is a file size that we will allow for permanent storage, and so in that sense there is a allocation size which basically limits the total file size that you can have. And we haven't decided on how big the allocation will be. But if you were to pay for the allocation by yourself, then there is no limit. It really depends on how many tokens you put in. So, yeah. So great. I think that's all the questions that I see here. So this will be a short AMA. I know you guys are spending time with friends and family, which is a good thing. I've spent a lot of time with family, and because my kids are off school, so it's good to spend time with them and have a few laughs. But a lot of people are working through the weekend, through the holidays, and certainly I am working through the holidays, but I'm taking quite a bit of time to spend time with family. So hope to see you, and I hope you have a very good New Year, and a lot of exciting things to come in the New Year. So let's stay focused, and we're staying focused, and we want to make sure that you guys have some exciting things to test out and talk about to other people when in the new year. So thank you again for bearing with us throughout our development cycle. It's a long journey, but as you can see with all the apps, with the pre-mainnet, we are very close. We are basically, I would say, probably 2 months away from mainnet and launch of all the apps. And you will see how things are at once we release these apps. And you're already seeing some results from pre-mainnet. Once we do the load test, you will see it. And then we will basically put the apps on the on pre-mainnet. But right now, the apps will be released on our demo network, but then they will be shifted to the pre-mainnet network. For pre-mainnet, we will be doing another release where we incorporate all the miners, US miners and Europe miners, to do a final test, and then basically we're ready for mainnet. So things are moving fast, things are coming together. So I'm very excited to see it all happen. I hope you guys are too. So we'll celebrate in the new year. Okay. So till then, we'll see you on the flip side next week. We may have some time change next week. We'll address that when we are close to the MA. All right. Thank you. Take care, guys. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.